All right, welcome to the second week of USD's Career Conversations. My name is Ashlyn Schoenfelder, and I am a career advisor and employer relations coordinator in the Academic and Career Planning Center. This will be recorded and available on our YouTube channel to view at a later time. This week, we are dedicating our conversation to learn more about opportunities with the U.S. government, with the General Services Administration. We are joined by Pedro Navagonzalez. We will first have Pedro introduce himself. He will then give a short presentation, and then I will save time at the end for a few questions that I have and let anyone that joins us live ask a few questions. So, Pedro, to begin, can you introduce yourself just a little bit?
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Pedro Navagonzalez. I'm a recruitment specialist at the National Recruiting Center for GSA, General Service Administration. My job is to reach out and connect with graduating students and juniors for our internship programs that allow them to basically have a golden ticket into the U.S. government.
Wonderful. And I will stop sharing my screen and let you share your screen.
Okay. So this is going to be a general presentation in regards to the entry-level opportunities we have in our recent graduate program. We'll talk about the team, who GSA is and our organizational structure. Entry-level programs, we have two: recent graduate program and the internship program. Positions we recruit for, why work for us or the U.S. government, and what type of individual we're looking for. And then at the end, I'll open up to questions and answers. We cover the entire continental United States, including Alaska and Hawaii. Our team consists of caring for region 1 through 3, basically the other side of the country, Maine, through, let's see, she covers Philly and so on and so forth. We got Christian that covers Texas, Oklahoma, and then we got Christine that covers the National Capital Region, North Carolina, and then myself, I primarily cover the West Coast. So I got regions 8, 9, and 10, and that's the way the regions are broken down on the map. So even though you're listening to me and I'm a West Coast recruiter, if you are interested in an opportunity in a different state, not a problem. I'll connect you with one of my colleagues and they will support you in your looking for that opportunity. GSA is General Service Administration, basically. Of course, the government likes their acronyms. We're an independent agency of the United States government. The simplest way to describe the GSA is twofold. One, we're the federal government's landlord. We manage all federal buildings in the continental United States. So when you see a federal building, whether it be a federal bank, a post office, or anything like that, that belongs to the GSA. We manage it, we purchase it, and we sell it. And then, of course, we have landlords that oversee whoever's inside that building. So really, that's one side of it. The other side is the purchasing side, and so we kind of consider ourselves like the Amazon of the U.S. government. We're broken down to 11 regional offices. Washington, D.C. is our headquarters. Boston, Denver, New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Chicago, Kansas City, Fort Worth, where I'm located, San Francisco, and Seattle. And of course, as I was mentioning, the Public Building Services is a landlord for the civilian federal government. And of course, we have the Federal Acquisition Service. The Federal Acquisition Services can be actually considered or thought of as the Amazon for the U.S. government. If a federal office needs pens, pencils, markers, crayons, computers, tablets, anything like that, they come through us. We go out there, we purchase it at the lowest price, and then we turn around and sell it back to the federal government at a reduced rate. So that way we can save money for you all or us, the American citizens and our taxes. So that way we try not to overspend our federal dollars. The positions we normally recruit for are accountants, contract specialists, relative specialists, budget analyst, program analyst, building management specialist, program managers, and IT specialists. Now, here's something unique about our positions. Where you normally in the civilian sector, in order to become an accountant or to apply for an accountant's position, you should have a degree or experience in accounting. That's normally the way it works. But this is something unique that the federal government offers or GSA offers. As long as you have a degree and you graduated from an accredited institution, you can apply for any position you see listed here. So if you're a history major, but you're interested in being a contract specialist for the U.S. government working for GSA, you can apply under the recent graduate program and the internship for that contract specialist. Now, under the recent graduate program, we will provide you for the first year everything you need to be successful: certification, a mentor that will walk you through the process, and will get you through a successful year under the accounting position. So that way you can continue your career as an accountant for GSA. So it's very unique. Again, you don't have to have a degree in accounting. You could be a history major, an English major, any kind of major will work. Underwater basket weaving works. That's a joke. And of course, apply for any of the opportunities. The recent graduate program is like basically the golden ticket into the US government. As a graduate, we will give you an opportunity to come join us for 1 year under the accepted service appointment with a possibility for conversion at completion of the program. So you can apply for any of the positions I listed before. During that 1 year, if you're successfully transitioned over, you can definitely stay with us and move on into a career role. You come in as a GS7. During your first year, you get promoted to the GS9. During your second year, you're a GS11. And your third year, you're a GS12. And you can look at the GS pay rating just by Googling GS pay scale. So that way you can kind of see in your region what we're looking at in regards to what kind of money you've been making. Because there are so many different states and so many different areas, it's best for you to Google that information, GS pay scale. So that way you can kind of see what the GS pay scale is in your region or your area. So then you got the Pathways Internship Program. The internship program allows you to come in during your junior year to apply for any of those positions that I mentioned. So that way you kind of get an idea of what that position is like. And if you like it, after you graduate, you can continue using the recent graduate program to continue that opportunity and then move into a career role. Why work with us? Well, like I said, during your first year, we're going to provide training. We're going to provide everything you need to be successful: hands-on training, soft skills, and we're going to make sure we get you all the certification you need. Of course, you're going to have countless healthcare benefits through the U.S. government: dental, vision coverage, life insurance, and a flexible spending account. We do have a retirement program. It's called the First Federal Employee Retirement System. And we also allow you to join the Thrift Savings Plan. It's a 401k equivalent. All military personnel are access to Thrift Savings Plan, so you would have access to that too. And then we also have a transit benefit. So if you work close to your office and you can ride the bus, the train, the trolley, whatever you have, we will provide you up to $265 per month to use public transportation, which is tax-free. So that you don't even have to drive your car. You can actually use public transportation to help, save our environment. We have a fun and flexible work environment. I mean, when I say that, I truly mean that. GSA is like a family. We get together virtually at least once a month. The entire GSA workforce gets together virtually, and we talk about what's going on, what's coming up. But then we break down and we ask, hey, who's ready for football? How about my Cowboys? Well, let's not talk about the Cowboys. But the bottom line is we talk about just off kilter information about just ourselves, what we're doing for the weekend. I mean, it really feels like working for a family. It builds our spirit de corps and our camaraderie throughout the organization. We do have 11 paid holidays, sick leave. You earn 4 hours per pay period. There's 2 pay periods per month. Vacation, years 1 to 3, 4 hours per pay period. Years 4 through 15, 6 hours. And then 16 plus, you get 8 hours of holiday or vacation per pay period. So that's in a month you can actually get 16 hours once you get to that 16-year plus mark. We have flexible work schedules. Some of our work schedules are telework. For example, I'm hired through GSA, whose headquarters in Washington, D.C., and my federal building is located in Fort Worth, but I work from home. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here at GSA for you to work. I mean, you have a max flex schedule, we have a telework, and so on and so forth. So once you start working with us, you'll be able to learn more about that. Job security, as I can say to many people, as long as we have a U.S. government, you have a job. And I don't see anything happening to our great nation for many, many years to come. 40-hour work week, paid overtime, reimbursable travel expenses, and opportunity for promotion within the agency. What type of person we're looking for? We're looking for you. I mean, if you look at the list, that is exactly what a college student is. Good sense of judgment, decisive, flexible, adaptable. I mean, how many times have you not signed up for a class and then it gets canceled at the last minute? What do you have to do? You have to be flexible. You have to go back in there, look for another class, add it to your schedule, and so on and so forth. So we're really looking for individuals that are like you, or our scholar college students. I'm going to go ahead and close my presentation and open it up to questions. But before I do that, I'm just going to give you a couple minutes to either screenshot or take a picture, so that way you can have my email address, and then we'll go from there. Okay, let me go back up here and stop my sharing, turn on my camera. Okay, fantastic. Does anybody have any questions, or do you want to moderate the questions?
We can open it up. Otherwise, if no one has any questions right now, I can start with the questions that I have prepared. All right, we will just get started. So thank you, Pedro, for sharing that with us. So first question, what is the difference between a federal resume and just a regular resume?
That's a great question. And really, the biggest difference is that a federal resume does not have a limit to 2 pages. When you go to the civilian sector, they want you to keep your information to at least 2 pages. But here in the federal government, it doesn't matter. You can have a 15-page resume, and the more information, the better it is for the federal government. You want to go into detail, and you want to have something that's a lot of the information in your resume, your federal resume, should be quantifiable. So in other words, I worked with 250 people and increased production by 60%.
Amazing. I lost your video if you turned that off.
My visual, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, just that way. Let me go ahead and turn it back on. There we go.
Awesome. Thank you. So what are some things you see on resumes that stand out to you?
What I see nowadays, that I'm seeing more often than not, is individuals are putting pictures and graphics. It's not recommended on any type of resume. And the reason it's not recommended is because those pictures and graphics actually take away from space on your resume to write information that you actually want to share, that great quantifiable information that makes you a great candidate. They're going to see you when you do your interview, so you don't need to add pictures and graphics. And if you are, for whatever reason, you decide that you want to add a picture, don't add a selfie. Go get a professional picture done and add that picture. But I highly recommend and strongly encourage you not to use pictures and graphics. Just use your basic information, your basic resume layout.
Absolutely. So do you have any recommendations on how students can gain experience for their resume or their portfolio?
Well, whether they're in college, they definitely want to do research projects, volunteer work, or anything like that. All that information can be added to that federal resume. And again, quantifiable, but make sure you keep track of the things that you do, how it affects or impacts the work area or your employer, and add that to your resume. And that's definitely going to help you out tremendously.
Absolutely. How are the resumes reviewed? Is it a computer system, an individual person? Can you explain further on how that's kind of the process of that?
Yeah, today's modern day systems use applicant tracking system, an ATS, that actually will digitally look at your resume and find out keywords that will match the job description. Once those keywords are found, and if enough of them are found, then they're transferred over from the applicant tracking system to a person who will actually review your resume, and then from your resume, it will be sent over to the hiring manager.
Wow. So if they do not have keywords, even if they're the top dog, they're not going to get
Exactly.
viewed.
So my personal recommendation to any candidate looking to apply for any position is to look at the job description, what they're going to be doing, what that job description states, and then extract all the information that they're looking for and add that to your resume. Somehow match it to your job skill, so that way the applicant tracking system will find those keywords and then move it over to the person so they can actually see it.
Okay, good to know. What are your thoughts on cover letters? Do you guys want them? Do you like them? Do you read them?
They're important for the civilian sector, and here's the reason why they're important for the civilian sector. Being that you're limited to a 2-page resume, having that cover letter allows you to add additional information that you might have wanted to add, but if you did, you would go to the 3rd page. That cover letter will will allow you to add that additional information. For the federal government, because there is no limit, you can add a cover letter, but it doesn't. It, you can add it if you want to, but it's not really needed. What we were looking for is all the meat and potatoes to be added in your resume, so that way we can extract the type of skill set you bring, and that way you can transfer you over to the workforce.
Awesome. Okay. So let's touch on the interview process now. What is the interview process like to get hired, and how can students prepare?
So recently, I've been seeing that there are a lot of employers are using some sort of like interview app where they'll send you like questions via an app, and you'll use it's on your phone or your computer, and you stand in front of the computer, and it'll bring up the question, "What makes you the best candidate?" And then it'll go one, two, three, and then you have to answer that to this virtual, computer. I feel I'm the best candidate because I bring this to the table. And then if you're satisfied, you enter it. They're going to that, but once they find those two or three highly qualified applicants via that app, then they move you over to an actual second interview with an actual panel of individuals that normally consists of it can be 2 to 4. As a former police officer, I've had a panel of 6 individuals. So, it just really depends on the agency and how many individuals they want to have on the interview panel. Once you pass that, then you go on to the hiring process. How do you prepare? Mock interviews. Practice with your family, your friends. You can do it in the mirror. Now a lot of the the apps that allow you to do that virtual interview will allow you to practice. They'll give you the question, allow you to provide that answer, and if you like it, you save it. If not, you can try it again. So there's different ways to kind of prepare for it, but definitely mock interviews are the best way of doing it. Sit down with a friend, a family member, and seriously sit down with them, give them a list of mock interview questions. You can Google that. Interview questions that are the top 10 questions that are used, and have that to your interviewer, and provide that interview to that individual, and just get practice, get comfortable, and be positive during your interview.
Awesome. Okay. And just to know that our office, the Career Services Office at USD, we do provide mock interviews. So if anybody does want to practice for an interview, we provide that service as well. So thanks for saying that. Next question. How should someone truly answer the weakness question if they get asked that in an interview?
It's my personal recommendation is always be honest, but have a positive way to resolve any type of weakness that you have. Just spin it to a positive, make a negative into a positive. As long as you can do that, you should be good to go. What kind of weakness can you possibly explain when you're out there? My weakness is I love to work. Once I'm into work, I love to stay there. And even though my day ends at 4:30, if somebody calls me, I'll pick up that phone and I answer it. I'll answer my phone on Saturday and Sunday. That's my biggest weakness, and I explain that to my to my employers. Once I'm in the job and I'm passionate about my job, it's going to be hard for me not to answer my candidates or anybody calling me on the weekends. But that is one of my weakness, but I really work on that by actually leaving my work phone at home and not looking at it until I get back to work on Monday.
Smart. That's hard because you have to have work-life balance, but you also care about your work. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Something to work on, but not a bad weakness, I guess.
But again, if you have any type of weakness, figure out a way to make that into a positive. There's always a way to make something a weakness into a positive. Just look for that and turn it.
Absolutely. So next question on the interview process. What stands out to you in an interview?
The biggest thing is that positive attitude, passion, and the desire to work in our business or any business. You don't want to be that interviewer that's sitting there and they ask you, well, why do you want to be a police officer? I don't know. I like when I wear a gun. I like the badge. I don't know. It's shiny. You want to be like, I've always wanted to be an officer. I've seen TV shows that inspired me to be a police officer. I want to serve and protect. So that's a general example. Honestly, that was my question when I was applying for the police department, and that's what got me the job. They just felt like I would make a great officer going out there and serving the public.
Wonderful. A few other questions I have. What are some of the top skills or experiences you look for in entry-level candidates?
Again, we're going back to the to what to do before you apply. What can you do while you're in college? Is doing those research projects, going out there and doing volunteer work. For example, if you want an accounting position, maybe you're not an accounting major, but you can volunteer at a nonprofit and and help them with some sort of accounting, type skill set. So that way, when you come to us, you can share all that information with us, and that'll make us look into you and say, yeah, that's really good what they did in order to prepare themselves for this position.
Absolutely. And now kind of a personal question. What do you like best about working for your company, the
Oh,
government?
yeah, thank you. And as I mentioned before, I mean, GSA, the General Service Administration, is really like being part of a huge family. We meet often and talk about our work, then transition to other things like sports and special events. We
Mhm.
welcome every new member of the team with a personal email. Everybody. I mean, when you're a new member, you get about, I don't know, hundreds and not thousands of emails from different from offices all across the nation. Welcome to the GSA. You're gonna love it. This is what it's gonna be like. If you need anything, let us know. We'll, I'll be more than happy to help you out. And we honor the service of those who worked with us but decide to move on, whether they go on to retirement or they transition from a GSA to FEMA or DAEA or DISA or any other of the government agencies that fall under the blanket of the U.S. government. And but in the military, we would call this spirit de corps and a true sense of camaraderie. That's what I love about this. As a retired U.S. Marine of 22 years, coming to the GSA, it's kind of like going back into that military community where, like, one team, one fight. We're all very positive about working for the GSA
Mhm.
and supporting our government.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for your service.
Oh, it was a privilege.
So final question for me, and then we will get to the questions that students have. Do you have any final advice for college students looking for a job in the federal government?
Well, for anybody that's graduating has graduated within the last 2 years, take advantage of that golden ticket into government employment known as a recent graduate program. Definitely use that as a leverage to get into the government, because once you pass those 2 years and you apply traditionally, it's different competition, and you definitely have to come in with the experience required for that particular skill set. And if you don't have it, and you don't meet the requirements, you're not even going to get a call, or you're going to get rejected right away. The ATS system is harsh when it comes to like coming in and applying for a position without using the recent graduate program.
Right. Okay. So I know Kira just answered this question, but we had a question that said, can you repeat the name of the USD office that offers mock interviews for students? So that would be the office that I work in, which is the Academic Career Planning Center. At USD, we're located in the ID Weeks library. We can do a mock interview in person, over the phone, Zoom. We can do multiple mock interviews. So I do it for graduate students or undergraduate students, people that are looking for a job, going into graduate school, all that kind of stuff. So any types of mock interviews we can provide. Are there any other questions from the audience? All right, it doesn't look like it. So thank you again so much, Pedro, for taking time out of your day to meet with us and share your insight on the GSA, and then just about being a successful candidate for having a job in the federal government. So thank you so much. And just so everybody else knows, we do have 2 more career conversations. We have one next Wednesday, the 21st and the 28th at 10 a.m. So you can join us on Zoom to hear from other employers about advice in the real world. So thank you again, Pedro. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it, and have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.